Hey there, cinephiles. It's finally time to get into my top 10 films of 2022. This is honestly my favorite time of the year. People are dropping their best and worst lists, and it's always fun to see who has good and bad taste. And now it's time for me to finally drop mine. Every year since 2019, I try to get this video out to you guys, and this time I actually have some help. So thank you to my editor, Sebastian, who's actually helping me edit these videos now, and actually led to a lot of growth. We've thankfully been able to get more people to follow, and now having a little bit of an audience is actually pretty cool. So thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And once again, thank you to Sebastian for helping. But alright, enough of the sappy stuff. Let me get into the year that was 2022. Overall, I have seen 76 2022 releases, which is the most I've seen in a year. And looking at the whole landscape of film this year, it's been a pretty good year for movies. There was definitely some more weirdness and different genres that bled into the mainstream. And for that, I truly appreciate the creative leaps that were taken this year. Narrowing this list down to 10 was actually kind of hard, but I do want to shout out some honorable mentions. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, probably the biggest snub of my list, and one that I will get the most hate for, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Even though I dislike Pete Davidson, this was still a fun modern whodunit. The Woman King, an old school type blockbuster that had the crowd in my theater hype. And shockingly, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, a film I actually saw in theaters today, and it's way better than it should be. But alright, without further ado, let's get in my top 10 films of 2022. Number 10. Flying in at number 10 is a blockbuster that I got to see early for free and in IMAX. However, this did not sway my vote, even though I did get to enjoy it a bit more. Here I have Top Gun: Maverick. This is one of the most surprising movies of the year for me. Even though I didn't love the first one, which came out all the way in 1986, it's still a movie that I really enjoyed. Tom Cruise is here to stay as a leading man. It's actually impressive how he's able to do so at 50-odd years old. Tom Cruise just knows how to lead. The charisma that he has at 50-odd years old is truly insane. Aside from the romantic side plot, he actually has such a great arc in the film too. But Miles Teller is the best part of the film. I need a spin-off with him, Bob, and Phoenix. That trio can lead a franchise, or at least one movie. Overall, this is a crowd-pleasing film that works really well because it's so well crafted. Number 9. As delicious as a time as any, my number 9 is The Menu. It is biting rich people satire, dealing with classism in a fun and sometimes horrific way. It stars the amazing Anya Taylor-Joy and the fantastic Ralph Fiennes. Overall, the cast does well and makes this dark comedy palatable, with some genuinely stunning shots of food. Despite some twists and turns that might be grotesque for some, I still left the theater hungry. And I cannot wait to do a triple feature of this film, Ratatouille, and Chef. Seriously though, this is a fun film and one that won't be taken seriously by award season. But this is a film I know I can turn on anytime and enjoy, especially with laughing at Nicholas Holt's character. But yeah, if you haven't seen this film, please go watch it with friends and have a fun time making fun of the 1%. Also, I gotta wear those final outfits as a Halloween costume. Watch it and you'll get what I mean. Number 8. I love me some Baz Luhrmann, and at number 8 I have his latest film, Elvis. For as loud and as crazy as his style is, it just works for me. Baz makes this the film equivalent of bedazzling, but this has some actual nice depth to it. Now, I understand the brash and bold style that Baz has doesn't work for everybody, but it sure does work for me, and it sure does work for this movie. The maximalist take on Elvis and the unique viewpoint into his story is something that I truly applaud. We are watching the tale of a legend through the eyes of a shady business manager, who of course is played by Tom Hanks in one of the most bizarre performances of the whole year. I know many people hate it, but I actually don't mind it. Anyway, a performance that many people do love is that of Austin Butler's. And in many years I have him as my frontrunner for Best Actor of this year. However, there is another performance coming on this list that just outshines him. But that does not take away from the star in the making that is Austin Butler. Number 7. Okay, so this is the film that has the lock to win Best Actor at the Oscars. At number 7, I have The Whale. Brendan Fraser delivers an otherworldly performance. He is so magnetic and raw in this movie, so much so that it really only works because of him. You do, of course, get great performances from Hong Chau and Sadie Sink. However, the overall film is just missing something. Either way, Brendan is so damn good in this horrifically emotional film that I had to put it on my top 10 list. And I really hope he wins the award come Oscar time. After being blacklisted, this would be such a great arc for him in real life. And the thing is, he genuinely deserves it. I know it because 30 minutes into this 2-hour movie, I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't want to miss a single second of his wonderful performance. I mean, he just works so well. Number 6. At this spot, I have The Fabelmans. What was theorized to be Spielberg's last movie is something that actually is a message that he isn't going anywhere anytime soon. As one of my most anticipated movies of this year, I watched 24 Spielberg movies in preparation. And I also did a video ranking my top 10 Spielberg movies, so watch if you haven't yet. As one of my favorite directors, even though this film doesn't quite reach the heights of his greater works, I'm still so glad he made this personal tale. The way this movie deals with creativity and the need to create something when you have that spark of inspiration is something I will never forget, especially with the way he's able to capture it in this movie. Spielberg is able to capture that awe and wonder so well on the screen. And this also has my favorite final shot of the year. This is the one film I regret not revisiting before I made this list because it had a chance to go higher. Number 5. Every year there's a film that the Oscars and the majority of awards season tends to ignore that I love. This year, I fear it's Bones and All. Timothy Charmander and Taylor Russell deserve to be talked about in every acting category. They're just amazing in this movie and their chemistry is palpable. However, the one that deserves the recognition the most is Mark Rylance. His performance in this film is so creepy and just unsettling, it sticks with you. But even overall, Luca Guadagnino directs a beautiful movie. It's so romantic, gory, and perfectly balanced tone-wise. Talking about it right now is actually getting me upset because it deserves some recognition that I know it's not going to get. But I know this will become a deserved cult classic. Number 4. RRR is my 4th favorite movie of 2022. This Tollywood blockbuster should scare American blockbusters because holy crap, what a film. This absolute crowd-pleasing take on two important historical Indian figures is something that feels so fresh. This is a 3-hour epic that flies by with its insane energy and visuals. This has a little bit of everything, and somehow it works very well as a melting pot. And at the very center of it is a bromance that anyone would be jealous of. Oh dang, my light died out. Show must go on. Of the whole list, this is a movie that I could and should show everyone I know. I wish I had seen it sooner with some more people because this is a textbook crowd pleaser and a bar that will probably never be reached again. Number 3. Here I have a film that is so easy to get lost in. And not just because you need a doctorate in musical theory to understand what most people are talking about in this movie, but because of the outstanding performance at the center of it. Tar is a character study on the downfall of Cate Blanchett's character, who is the titular character, Tar. This doesn't answer every question, and in fact, it's up to you as the viewer to pick up on its clues. And it works very well because you feel like you're going crazy with her as her life crumbles around her. This movie's so damn good that I started listening to classical music on the drive home from the theater. Also, Cate Blanchett would be my favorite performance of the year if it weren't for one performance in my number 1 movie. Todd Field directed something so tight and professional, I was in awe of the craftsmanship. I hope he and Kate get their nominations come Oscar time. Number 2. Okay, so I didn't think my top 2 spots could be so interchangeable. For most of the year, I thought number 1 was a lock, but then I saw this movie and the race for number 1 was actually very close. So only by a razor-thin margin, my second favorite movie of the year is Babylon. This came in right at the end and really almost took number 1 spot. There were many moments as I was watching the movie that I almost thought this could have been my first ever 5 out of 5. Unfortunately, it does falter at times, especially in the second half. But man, if Chazelle isn't just flexing his wonderful directing prowess. This film does so much with its admittedly long runtime, and it's just worth it. It feels like someone who's been working in an industry long enough to have growing resentment towards it, but still has a wonderful sense of the beauty in it. It's both a cautionary tale and something that shows the need of an artist to make it to the level they feel that they must. In that, we get some gorgeous cinematography and by far the year's best score. Justin Hurwitz deserves the Oscar just for Voodoo Mama alone. Everything works so well together, and there's one sequence in this film that is genuinely perfect. I know this isn't for everyone, but it's so for me. I saw myself in this movie to the point that I was almost driven to tears. And isn't that what movies are about at the end of the day? Number 1. My favorite movie of 2022 is a movie that I saw 4 times in the theater, and one that I actually got jealous of because I wish I had made it. My top spot goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once. When I walked out of the theater after my first viewing, I was just so jealous and angry because this is something I dreamt of. But then I watched it again and again and again, and I would gladly watch it again right now. This parallel jumping film with an extremely emotional family drama at the core of it just works so well and inspires me to get as crazy as I want with my films too, just as long as I remember where the heart is. Michelle Yeoh is something I'll never forget as it's my favorite performance of the year. And Ki Huy Kwan, with a more than impressive comeback, is deservedly getting all the acclamations he deserves. The Daniels did something so special by directing and writing this, and I cannot wait for this to win Best Picture. If it doesn't, then hopefully something in my top 5 does. But alright, that's another year in the books. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your favorite movies of 2022 down in the comments below. Even share some of your least favorite movies of the year. Can't wait for all the Morbius comments. Or stands. Be sure to follow us on our socials to see all the wonderful things that we'll be doing next year too. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll watch you later.